Have you ever felt like learning something new takes way too long? Like it would be so much easier if you could just trick your brain into learning faster. Well, there are actually a few ways that you can do this. And today, we're going to show you some of our favorite fun tips. At first glance, these tricks might seem more like party tricks or activities you do with friends. But if you think about it, they're all things that hack into how your brain works to make learning easier and more efficient. So, here are 8 fun ways to trick your brain into learning faster. No, 1. Use storytelling. Humans have been passing down knowledge for generations through stories around campfires. There's a reason why we learn and remember stories better than random facts. Stories engage our imaginations and connect new information to our past experiences. They also provide a framework for understanding complex topics. By placing new information in a narrative context, our brains can process it more efficiently. To use storytelling to learn faster, try creating a story around the topic you want to learn. For example, if you want to remember the order of operations in math, imagine a story about a king who has to follow a strict order of importance when giving out his treasure. Or if you're studying for an exam, create a story about a character who goes on a journey to find the lost city of knowledge. You can also use visual aids to help you remember your stories, such as drawing pictures or creating diagrams. The more vivid and memorable your story, the easier it will be to recall the information you want to learn. Note 2. Invert it. Inversion is a powerful learning tool that involves looking at things from different angles. By inverting or flipping a concept, question, or problem, we can gain a deeper understanding of the topic and identify potential flaws or biases in our thinking. This technique is often used in rhetoric and debate to challenge assumptions and generate new ideas. Here are some examples of how you can use inversion to learn faster. If you're trying to understand a complex concept, ask yourself how someone who completely disagrees with you would explain it. If you're studying for an exam, try coming up with questions that challenge common assumptions or test your understanding of the material. By inverting your thinking, you can break out of your comfort zone and see things in a whole new light. And that can lead to some serious brain power when it comes to learning. Number 3, mind mapping. Mind mapping is a great way to trick your brain into learning faster because it uses visual cues to help you memorize information. The human brain processes visual information 60,000 times faster than text, making it a powerful tool for learning. Mind maps can help you connect ideas and see the big picture by organizing information in a non-linear way. To create a mind map, start with the central idea or concept and branch out into subtopics and supporting details. Use colors, images, and other visual cues to help you remember the information. There are several apps and software programs available to help you create professional-looking mind maps quickly and easily. No artistic talent required. Number 4, use mnemonics. Mnemonics are memory aids that can help you remember information more easily. They work by connecting new information to things that you already know, and they come in many forms. One popular type of mnemonic is the acronym, which is a word or phrase formed from the first letters of a list of words. For example, the acronym for the planets in the solar system is My Very Educated Mother just showed us 9 planets. Another type of mnemonic is the acrostic, which is a sentence where the first letter of each word represents something you want to remember. For example, the acrostic for the colors of the rainbow is Richard of York gave battle in vain. You can also use visual mnemonics such as imagery and visualization to help you remember information. For example, if you want to remember that Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system, you might imagine a tiny bowl representing Mercury next to a basketball representing Earth. The sillier or more unusual the image, the easier it will be to remember. There are many other types of mnemonics that you can use to help you remember information. Some of them sound too goofy to work, but they do. So don't be afraid to get creative and have fun with it. The more effort you put into creating a mnemonic device, the more likely you are to remember what you're trying to learn. Note 5. Gamify it. Gamification is the use of game-based elements such as points, badges, and leaderboards to motivate people and make learning more fun. When we play games, our brains release dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This makes learning feel more enjoyable and satisfying. Games also provide a sense of challenge and accomplishment, which can help keep us motivated and engaged in the learning process. There are many ways to gamify learning. You can turn studying into a competition with friends, keeping track of who can memorize the most flashcards or learn the most vocabulary words in a week. You can also use online learning platforms that incorporate game-based elements into their lessons. These platforms offer interactive exercises, quizzes, and games that make learning more engaging and effective. You can also create your own games to help you learn. For example, you can make flashcards with images and words to help you remember vocabulary words in a foreign language. You could also create a board game based on a topic you want to learn more about. The possibilities are really endless. No. 6. Teach it. Teaching others is a powerful way to reinforce your own learning. When you teach someone else, you have to organize your thoughts and articulate your ideas in a clear and concise way. This helps you to solidify your understanding of the topic you're teaching. Additionally, teaching others provides immediate feedback. As you're teaching, you can see whether or not your students are understanding the material. This gives you a chance to clarify any misconceptions or fill in any gaps in your knowledge. You don't have to be an expert in a subject to teach it. If you're learning something new, try teaching it to a friend or family member. Even if they don't have any expertise in the subject, they can still provide valuable feedback. You can also teach others through blogging, vlogging, or creating online courses. By sharing your knowledge with others, you'll be able to learn faster and more effectively. 7. Practice makes perfect. We all know that practice makes perfect, but it's important to remember that we don't need to be perfect in order to practice. The point of practicing is to improve over time, so don't be afraid to make mistakes. In fact, making mistakes is part of the process. It's how we learn and grow. When we practice, we're essentially tricking our brains into thinking that we're performing under pressure. This helps us to improve our focus and concentration. We also learn to manage our emotions and not let them get the best of us. Practicing in a low-pressure environment allows us to build up our mental toughness, so that when we do face a challenging situation, we're better prepared to handle it. So don't wait until you're perfect to start practicing. Start practicing now and watch yourself improve over time. 8. Interleave practice. Interleave learning is a learning technique that involves mixing different topics or skills during study sessions rather than just focusing on one thing at a time. For example, instead of spending a whole day studying math, a whole day studying English, and a whole day studying history, you would spend 1 hour a day on each subject. This type of learning can be more challenging initially, but it has some real benefits. First, interleave learning helps us to remember information for longer periods of time. By mixing things up, we're constantly having to retrieve information from our brains, which strengthens the connections between neurons and makes the information more accessible in the long run. Second, interleave learning helps us to transfer knowledge from one situation to another. When we learn how to ride a bike, for example, we're not only learning how to balance and steer, but we're also learning how to transfer those skills to different environments. Interleave learning can help us to become more flexible and adaptable learners. Finally, interleave learning can help us to become more efficient learners. When we mix things up, we reinforce to be more deliberate with our study time and to really think about how we allocating our resources. This can help us to develop good study habits that will serve us well in the long run. If you want to trick your brain into learning faster, then interleave learning is definitely worth a try. Give it a shot and see how it works for you. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. If you want to continue learning how to trick your brain into learning faster, we recommend checking out some of our other videos on neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to change and adapt throughout life. With the right techniques, you can train your brain to be more efficient and effective at learning. Thank you for watching and see you next time.